The meeting will come to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Iannarino?
Here.
Porter?
Here.
Kane? Here. Khan?
Here.
Smolka?
Here.
Shupai?
Here.
Long?
Here.
All right. Thank you all for coming this evening. It was a beautiful evening outside, so it's great to be stuck in this great little room, but I'm sure I'm not speaking for anybody else. But thank you for coming. It's fabulous to see so many children here and so many parents and adults that are here to celebrate the kids this evening. That said, the mission of School District 15 is to produce world-class learners by building a connected learning community. Dr. Thompson?
This evening, we're going to be led in the pledge by students from Frank C. Whiteley Elementary School, and Bob Harris is going to come up and introduce his staff and his students that are going to lead us.
Good evening, Dr. Thompson, President Shupai, and the rest of the Board of Education and community members in the audience. I'm Bob Harris. I'm the principal at Whiteley Elementary School, and I would like to introduce Andrew Rodino, who is the lead of our head of our green team and our Wildcat crew.
Good evening, Dr. Thompson, President Shupai, and members of the board. Thank you for having us here this evening. My name is Andrew Rodino, and I'm the PE teacher at Frank C. Whiteley. Together with Mrs. Lota, who's our music teacher, we are the co-coaches of the PBIS Green Team and the lucky teachers who get to work closely with these amazing student leaders. This group, as you can tell, is known as the Wildcat Crew. Here tonight is Ronik, Trey, Anuj, Sanvi, Alia, Lillian, Nick, Obina, Carter, Hayato, Karma, Sophia, and Molly. They have been working hard to help get the program Expect Respect ready to be rolled out at Whiteley for the following school year, and they will continue to work closely with our PBIS team next year in a variety of capacities. Needless to say, they're going to be busy, but this group is definitely up for the challenge. So at this time, I invite you to please stand as they lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the Board of Education has these great light-up pins for you for leading us in the pledge, but also for being leaders in your school. So come on over here and I'll give you a pin. Thanks for being a leader in the school. Good job.
She's really excited, yeah.
Thank you for coming.
All right. The next item we would like to do is some organizational activities. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Scott Thompson as President Pro Tempore. Second. Thanks, Barb. The motion carries. Scott Thompson is now the President Pro Tempore of the Board of Ed.
So each year, the Board of Education is required to elect its officers, and it's that time of the year. And we've completed a complete year of you being in charge, so it's been a great year. And so at this point, I would like to open up the nomination for President of the Board of Education for the upcoming school year.
I make a motion to nominate Lisa Shupai to serve as President of the Board.
Okay, there's a nomination for Lisa Shupai. Are there any other nominations for President? Are there any other nominations for President? Well, I want to ask a third time. So, seeing that there are no other nominations, Lisa, congratulations to the Board of Education President, and I turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you very much. All right, I'd like to open up the floor for nominations for the position of Board Vice President.
I make a motion to nominate Mike Smolka to serve as Vice President of the Board of Education.
Any further nominations? Anybody? All right, no further nominations. Board member Mike Smolka is elected to serve as Vice President of the Board of Education. Congratulations. I'd like to open up the opportunity for nominations for the position of board secretary.
I nominate Anthony Wong for board secretary.
Any other nominations?
Anthony, you don't want to nominate somebody else to have cramps from signing all those things?
It's been a blast.
The signature is slightly different than it was before, all his signatures.
Signing.
Anybody else? All right, then board member Anthony Wong is elected to serve as secretary of the Board of Education. Congratulations. All right, may I have a motion to establish the time and place of regular Board of Education meetings?
Make a motion to approve the regular meetings of the Board of Education through June 30th, 2018, to be held at the times and places indicated on the 2017-18 schedule as revised in the proposed 2018-19 schedule.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
You'd thrown out moving the one in October.
Yeah, and I think that somehow slipped by. We tried to do, I don't think anybody was objectionable to the
No.
board meeting being moved to, was it?
The third?
Going to the third from the
October
time?
3rd?
Yeah.
So could, if, Mike, did you make that motion?
I did.
Would you be willing to modify your motion to change it to the modified schedule based upon October 3rd?
Yeah, make a motion to approve the regular meetings of the Board of Education, modifying the October 10th, 2018 meeting to the October 3rd, 2018 date, to be held at the times and places indicated on the 2017-18 schedule.
Great.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Smolka?
Aye.
Shupai?
Aye.
Wong?
Aye.
Iannarino?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Kane? Aye. Khan?
Aye.
Motion carries. May I have a motion to adopt and enforce all rules, please?
I make a motion to adopt and enforce all rules, regulations, and policies of the proceeding Board of Education, and to adopt and enforce all necessary rules for the management and governance of the schools of Community Consolidated School District 15, Palatine of Cook County, Illinois.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
This is really done after elections, but it's just nice to let everybody in the audience, the community, know that we're upholding the rules and moving forward. So it's probably not necessary, but I'm glad you did it. So
All right, great. Roll call?
Shupai?
Aye.
Wong?
Aye.
Iannarino?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Kane? Aye. Khan?
Aye.
Smolka?
Aye.
Motion carries. And superintendent's reports.
We have a number of recognitions tonight. It's very exciting. I was talking with June earlier, and she's worked in other districts, I've worked in other districts, and it's not always typical for school districts to have recognitions of students like this, but I know that this board and other boards have thought that this is the heart of what we do, and it's really fun to see kids, and so we're excited to do that tonight. And tonight, filling in for Dr. Meg Schnorr is Riza Cohn. Riza, come on up, and you've got a number of people you're going to recognize there.
Quite a number of people. Come on in, you can come. Good evening, Dr. Thompson and members of the board and community. I am very excited to have the opportunity. We have so many outstanding students that have participated in quite a number of activities, so I'll be up here for a few minutes. The first group,
That's fine. Keep
You guys can keep going.
the first group walking in is for IGSMA, which is, okay, for our band and orchestra
Ms.
students.
Cohn, could you grab the microphone, because we're recording this, and it's people listening elsewhere won't hear you.
Okay. So we have hundreds of band and orchestra and chorus students from the community that participate in all our programs. This year, they participated in the annual Illinois Great School Music Association, or IGSMA, Solo and Ensemble Contest. This was held on February 3rd at Baker Demonstration School in Wilmette. The students performed before a judge and audience, and they were given an evaluation of good, excellent, superior, or perfect. District 15 students were awarded 61 perfect rating performances and a total of 82 students, and we have some of those students with us tonight, and they're going to say just your first name and your school.
I'm Ji Wu, and I'm from Plum Grove Junior High. I'm Ria, and I'm from Plum Grove Junior High. I'm Hannah, and I'm from Plum Grove Junior High. I'm Sophia, I'm from Plum Grove Junior High. I'm Natia, I'm from Winston Campus. I'm Jennifer from Winston Campus.
Thank you very much, and these are our IGSMA students. Congratulations. Is there anyone else for science fair that's out in the hall? Kelly, can you kind of squeeze in? It's a huge group. Let's scoot down a little. You okay? Is everyone in? Piling. This is a large group. Science fair is a wonderful activity that all our junior highs put on, and the mission of the Illinois Junior Academy of Science is to present science as a rational observation and systematic investigation of phenomenon, and it ties into what we do in our schools, and we have some amazing teachers in our junior high who have worked tirelessly with our students to help them put together projects, which I was so pleased and excited to see. And these students went to regionals and state. So it was incredible, and we are so very proud of them. Congratulations. Name?
Tia from Winston Campus. Jennifer from Winston Campus. Leilani from Winston Campus.
Carter from Winston Campus.
Aiden from Winston Campus.
Prithvi from Winston Campus.
Colin from Winston Campus. Ben from Winston Campus.
Sukanya from Winston Campus. Uma from Winston Campus. Emma from Winston Campus. Roshni from Winston Campus. April Sky from Winston Campus. Kelly from Plum Grove Junior High.
Arvin from Plum Grove Junior High.
Surjit from Plum Grove Junior High.
Anish from Plum Grove Junior High.
Pritham from Plum Grove Junior High. Manav from Plum Grove Junior High.
Ria from Plum Grove Junior High. Hannah from Plum Grove Junior High.
Sanjeev from Plum Grove Junior High.
Naya from Plum Grove Junior High. Rashmi from Plum Grove Junior High. Debduda from Plum Grove Junior High.
Rohan from Carl Sandburg Junior High.
Lily from Carl Sandburg Junior High. Claudia from Carl Sandburg Junior High. Diana from Carl Sandburg Junior High.
Thomas from Sunling Junior High.
Jamie from Sunling Junior High. Shreya from Sunling Junior High. Amrita from Sunling Junior High. Jane from Sunling Junior High. Claire from Sunling Junior High. Quinn from Sunling Junior High. Kelsey from Sunling Junior High.
Nate from Sunling Junior High.
I would also like to thank, we have 3 of our sponsors here. One's hiding in the back. Ms. Naranchinia, I hope I said that right, Mr. Luck, and Ms. Kameth. So if you could give everybody a round of applause. Thank you. Great job, everybody.
Yeah, this is the last day for the letter pens. They're gone out.
Gotta move quick so you get your pen.
Nice job, guys.
Good job, guys.
Well done.
Thanks for coming.
Pretty good night for you.
Congratulations.
Both groups, nice.
Nice to see you.
Way to own that. Congratulations.
I had like the sickness and it just keeps hanging on and it's making just a bad allergy attack. Hello. Make sure you smile a goofy smile at that camera. Hi Gwen, how are you? I'm doing great. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for coming. Congratulations on your achievement. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Good job. Got it?
We only have a few more to go. Okay, so these, I would like to recognize our students who excelled in the You Be the Chemist Challenge. The challenge provides opportunities for our schools and educators in grades 5th through 8th. These are our 8th graders who compete with a variety of questions, I believe, and it's a pen and paper contest where they're asked questions about scientific method, properties of matter, chemical formulas, equations, the human body, anything pretty much related to science. So we have 4 outstanding students with their coaches, Ms. Muller and Ms. Naranchita. And I know I said your name wrong, I apologize. And if you could introduce yourself, just first name and school.
Pranav from Plum Grove Junior High.
Andre from Winston Campus Junior High.
Maggie from Sunling Junior High.
Emma from Plum Grove Junior High.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. If you can give them a round of applause.
Great job. Hear about chemistry experiments later on. Thank you. Representing District 15. Congratulations.
Come on in, all the way down. All the way down. Hi, everybody.
You can smile, it's okay.
Oh, I'll get out of the way of the picture.
You're back.
Welcome back.
Hello. So these students participated in Math Counts. Math Counts is a competition series where students are either in math club in their schools and participate once a week with some pretty heavy-duty math skills. So the competition has 4 levels: school, chapter, state, nationwide, and these are our students who performed very well and either went to state or at least participated in the regional. So if you've ever been to a Math Counts competition, it's pretty incredible. There are 4 rounds. There's a sprint round that focuses on speed and accuracy, a target round, which is solving mathematical equations, and I think that's the only one where they get to use a calculator. Then the team round is problem solving and collaboration, where students have 20 minutes to complete 10 math problems, and only 4 students actually take this out of the whole team of 10. And then the countdown round, where questions are just flashed on a board and they have to answer using a buzzer as quickly as possible. So it's pretty incredible. We are really proud of these students. Our schools, Walter Sunling in regionals took 2nd place, Hunting Ridge took 6th place, and Winston took 7th, and Pleasant Hill took 9th place, and we have some of our top competitors here this evening. I don't have the state standings for you.
Kelly from Plum Grove Junior High.
Mara from Plum Grove Junior High.
Surjit from Plum Grove Junior High.
Garrick from Plum Grove Junior High.
Sanjeev from Plum Grove Junior High. Andrew from Sunline.
Aditya from Frank C. Whiteley.
Joshua from Hunting Ridge.
Alex from Hunting Ridge. Sai from Hunting Ridge. Gotham from Hunting Ridge. Rich from Hunting Ridge.
Dylan from Winston Campus Junior High. Thomas from Sunling Junior High.
Lily from Carl Sandburg Junior High. Adarsh from Pleasant Hill Elementary. Maggie from Sunling Junior High.
And if we could give them another round of applause. Thank you, everybody. Great job. And if you are in the next one, you can just kind of loop around and you'll come back in.
Congratulations. I recognize that one.
Both of them. Joseph. Give me 5.
You guys
And
can
we have some
spread out.
students who participated in both, so we will kind of,
No worries, we don't bite right in front of you. Your mic does.
There you go.
do that. So we'll wait. Welcome back. Are there a few more open around? Are we good? Okay, so this is the last of our awards for this evening, our recognitions for this evening. This is for the Illinois Math League. Over 1 million students in the United States and Canada participate in Illinois Math League contests. It is a paper and pencil contest, again, that is given in the classrooms, and the goal is to encourage student interest and confidence in math. So there, in Illinois, for 6th grade, there were 70 schools that participated. Hunting Ridge took 2nd place, Central Road took 3rd place, Frank C. Whiteley took 6th, Pleasant Hill took 7th, Winston Elementary was 13th, and Marion Jordan was 18th. And we have some of our top students here who placed in these contests. So they're going to introduce themselves.
Joey from Pleasant Hill. Thomas from Pleasant Hill. Thomas from Hunting Ridge. Alex from Hunting Ridge. Jack from Hunting Ridge. Jason from Hunting Ridge. Hamza from Central Road. Jean from Central Road. Pranav from Central Road. Kelly from Plum Grove Junior High.
Mara from Plum Grove Junior High.
Alex from Hunting Ridge. Aditya from Frank C. Whiteley. Garrick from Plum Grove. Gotham from Hunting Ridge.
Sanjeev from Plum Grove Junior High.
And our 7th grade, Plum Grove there were 58 schools. Plum Grove took 2nd place, and we have 3rd, 7th, and 16th place winners from that school. And in 8th grade, 58 schools participated. Plum Grove took 4th, and we have a student who I don't believe is here this evening. I don't see him, but he took 1st place. And then we have 21st and 23rd place winners. Congratulations, everybody. You did a phenomenal job. Welcome. And our last one. You can just go stand up there. Glad you made it. And our last event is the National Geographic Geography Bee. This is an annual competition. Over 10,000 schools participate in answering questions about geography all over the world. And we'd like to congratulate Thomas. You want to just say hi? I already said your name. Tell your school.
I'm from Sumling Junior High.
From Sumling. Thank you very much. And thank you. And a special thank you to all the teachers and coaches and all the hard work that our staff and faculty put in, and for the support of the Board of Education to provide the funding for everyone to be able to participate in these events. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cullen. Mrs. Cullen was a teacher at Pleasant Hill, and she came to the district office. She's doing a fabulous job at the Department of Instruction. She filled in tonight for Dr. Shore at the last minute. Thank you for doing that. And she will be the new assistant principal at Jane Addams next year. She's really excited about that. So. Okay, the next item in my section is an exciting presentation from the Food Allergy Task Force, and I'd like to ask members of the task force that are going to make a presentation tonight to come up to the podium and the microphones. Mrs. O'Hara will get the PowerPoint ready. Mr. Adamczyk, I think you need to change the budget for next year. We need some more pens. We're running low.
I was impressed that there were a few left at the end of there.
Just to be clear and on record, we expect pens following the presentation.
Davey will be taken care of, believe me. Although if there are only two, you're going to have to fight.
Dave Barnett, Chair, and Kim Haas from Winston Campus Junior High, elementary school, excuse me, and Karen Floor, our Assistant Director of Nursing Services. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't hold the display settings.
Uh-oh. It's okay.
All right, so maybe we'll start while it comes up, because I don't need slides, at least for the first portion. So President Shupai, Superintendent Thompson, esteemed board members, thank you all for having us here to speak with you today. I know about a year ago, I came and got to speak with you all very briefly on this topic and why I felt personally that it's such a matter of importance for the district. I couldn't be more pleased and more grateful for the response of this board and administration in terms of taking that feedback and those thoughts and actually doing something about it. And so we've chartered a committee across the district that involve people from multiple buildings, multiple disciplines, folks that have been touched personally by food allergy, folks that have not, and formed a committee to look at this and look at our current practices and look at those things that we could do to be even stronger. At this point, my talk track pre-slide's complete and I'm filling time, which I will.
So I'll fill a couple of seconds on the other side.
Please.
So I very much appreciate that you took, from coming in here as a dad, showing up for the first time to speak to the board, to running a multifunctional committee to help solve what we perceive as a concern or an issue within the school district is fantastic. And so to sit a year later and be looking at you not giving a statistical presentation about the effect of food allergies on our students, which was a really good couple of minutes to begin with, but to be here for this is, I think, fantastic.
Well, perfect, thank you. I appreciate that. So what my colleagues and I will do over the next few minutes with you all is capture a couple of things. One is we'll recap just for a moment why we're here, what brought us here to reground us in that discussion. Second, we'll tell you a little bit about what this task force did and what we learned in that process. Third, we'd like to share some recommendations that we have both near term and perhaps a little bit longer term. And then finally, we'll talk about impacts of those recommendations and next steps from our perspective. So with that, just to reground us, food allergy is a real thing. It's something that affects a number of people. Nationally, we see 1 in 13 children now dealing with food allergy on a daily basis. That's 6 million kids. And the reality is District 15 isn't insulated from that. We have well over 1,000 students in our buildings who deal with life-threatening food allergy. And our buildings range from 6% of the student population living with life-threatening allergies all the way up to 14% of our students, more than 1 in 10 that deal with this on a daily basis. We know this is a big topic in terms of their personal safety and their level of comfort in their learning environment for the things that they go through. Further, not only is this something that's prevalent both in our district and nationally, what we see is, unfortunately, the trend is this is increasing. Blue Cross Blue Shield commissioned a study and released the results in 2018 that shows from the year 2010 to 2016, the number of ER visits due to anaphylaxis or severe allergic reaction increased by 150%. Further, we see the diagnosis of anaphylaxis or severe allergy increased in that same time period by over 100%. So the numbers are trending upward. Bottom line, we know it's real, we know it's here, and it's not getting better. So we applaud the district for taking time to say the landscape is changing. There's a lot of activity in this space, and we should take some time to get together. This task force went through a robust process over the past several months working together. We met on a monthly basis, and in that time, we looked at the existing guidelines in place across the district. And we further studied results of an audit commissioned by Dr. Thompson across our schools to say what do practices look like right now. We spoke with other districts and looked at best practice, those that are out front, those that are leading, that have a reputation for being out front when it comes to food allergy. And we talked to those that have recently implemented change. Districts that have gone through this process, that have seen the experience, have worked with their community to drive change recently. And finally, after doing all of those things and taking a thoughtful, metered approach to having constructive dialogue, did we come together with some recommendations. And now, to share those recommendations with you, I will pass the baton to Karen. You want me to drive?
You can go ahead and drive.
Deal.
So I'm Karen Flood. I'm the Assistant Coordinator for Health Services in the district, and what we found is our guidelines align very strongly with the state guidelines. We have multiple best practices, and it's a very inclusive guideline. We did find that other districts have seen the biggest gain by focusing their initial efforts on building awareness, getting some community support to adopt the change. We found that our guidelines do many, many things to provide safety for our students, but we found that it does not adequately address the social, emotional needs of our students who have food allergies. So what we did is we created a video using some of our students in the district to explain what it was like to have food allergies. What's it like to navigate your day? How do you go about doing this in school when food is all around you? How do you feel safe and what do you do? We had the gracious support of 4 schools. We went in and filmed, and it was a wonderfully put together presentation. So our first recommendation is to increase staff and student and community awareness. We want to make sure that other students understand what it is to have food allergies. Because unless you understand what it is, you don't know how serious it could be. We'd like to augment our staff education. We're finding that although GNC and all the training that we're doing right now for staff about anaphylaxis and how to use epinephrine is very comprehensive, we'd like to have them understand the social emotional impact of what their students are living with. And thirdly, we'd like to implement the training for the PTA. Since they come into our schools frequently and assist with a lot of activities, we'd like them to understand as well. Our second recommendation is to improve the accessibility of the guidelines in the district. One of the first things we found out in one of our first meetings was that very few people knew where the guidelines were or that they existed. So we would like to make sure that there's a website presence, that there's a page available for both staff and community to see what are our practices, so that they know that what we do is comprehensive and will keep their child safe. We'd like to review the guidelines and train the staff in the fall to just go over them again, give them a refresher, let them see how does this play itself out within your school on a day-to-day basis. We'd like to make sure we help cover those items with nutrition services, with transportation, administration, and the PTA. We'd also like to create an easy-to-navigate website for the parents so they can easily download the forms that are needed and understand what the intake process is so that they feel totally supported when they bring their child in to the school district with us. Thirdly, our recommendation is to enhance our current guidelines to have a social, emotionally supportive cafeteria. We want it to be consistent with best practice around seating for these students. We don't want a table off in the corner of these are where the kids are going to sit so they'll be safe. We'd like to make sure that we balance the student being safe with being able to be with their peers. And we'd like to rename the tables as allergen aware rather than peanut free, because not all allergies are peanut allergies. Second thing we'd like to do is we'd like to have food-free, activity-based parties beginning in 2019-2020. That gives us a year to build awareness, to build support, and allow people to understand why we're moving in that direction. And the third thing that we found is there are times that there are food-based activities outside the cafeteria that occur during lunchtime. Clubs meet in classrooms, and that's not addressed in our guidelines. So we'd like to shore up those guidelines so that we can provide guidelines and delineate responsibilities on how that cleaning needs to take place so that classroom is safe after that activity. Kim?
Thank you, Karen. So we think that the recommendations that we're making will make a significant impact. When I joined this committee, I knew about allergies. I had allergies in my classroom, but I didn't understand the emotional part of it. I didn't see that in my children until I heard them on the video, until I saw that in their faces and talked to them individually, and talked to parents who also had that. So it has made a huge impact on the way that I teach. I am much more aware of how I teach and when food comes in, when I'm checking to make sure that it's safe for all the children, and how I make sure that they're included and feel welcomed instead of just feeling like they have an allergy and I have to do something to help them. I think that if all of the staff and community were educated and students as well, and knew that how it affected their peers, that it would make a huge impact on the way that they are welcomed and that they feel secure, safe, and included in all of the teaching to be successful learners.
So we'd like to implement our recommendations. Beginning next year, we plan on continuing to meet. We plan on executing and assisting in any way we can to make sure that those guidelines are something that the staff and the community are aware of. Our goal is to create safety for all.
And so the bottom line, I think, what this committee has found is we believe and we know from talking to others and from our experience, both inside this work and things we've done in our lives, things change when people want to change. And so we believe awareness and education around the current guidelines and helping people like Kim to see what the bigger picture is will have the largest impact versus us sitting here and saying, here's 6 policies to change today. That's not what drives real change. Real change happens when people want to, and so we believe we can drive that very effectively through the activities we laid out. Before we end, just one comment. We've got a number of folks from our committee here in the audience. Could you guys stand just for a moment? I have to personally show gratitude for this group as a parent of an allergic child. We had a number of conversations that were awesome. We had really truthful conversations. We had really difficult conversations. We have parents who come from a world where they've never experienced food allergy. And the authenticity, the support of this committee to really get this right has been completely humbling to me. And out front of that, at the top of the list, I have to call out Karen, who's been an amazing partner in driving this forward. I couldn't ask for more in terms of a partner just to really look at this and take it seriously and commit to something that for me is personally meaningful, but for you, you're doing it for the right reasons because it's the right thing, and I appreciate that more than you could know. So that's what we have. What questions do you all have of us?
So I watched the video and I thought it was really well done. And some of the interaction that you see from the kids in the video versus what you get when someone's telling you something, to me, was significantly more impactful. But my question on the video is, how do you foresee getting it out in front of people? What's the plan, or what can we do to help you to put it out there so we can get the awareness impact?
So what we've planned to do is to roll it out in the beginning of the school year as part of the training for the different departments. It is a video that we've gotten permission to use internally in the district, so we're not putting it up on any website, but we'll show it during different trainings in the schools and allow everyone to watch and discuss. Our goal is to get conversation going.
And a big piece of it is that we believe that not only is it powerful with staff in those departments, but we've got commitment to share that with students and make it students. So we have members of our committee right now developing a discussion guide for teachers to use with students to pause the video and have discussion at varying points. And we think it starts there, right? When you're hearing from your peers, it's significant. So we think those are some great venues.
So do you think from a student perspective, are you envisioning the awareness piece being like on a classroom-by-classroom basis, or something done at the school level, like assembly type thing? What are you thinking?
Sure. I think the discussion to date has been at the classroom level.
At the classroom level, the children are more able to discuss. I think when it's a big assembly, there's less interaction. And really, our goal is to have interaction, is to have discussion, and have children ask questions and share thoughts, because that's how true change happens.
I'm sure it would be impactful, but also tough, and might put kids on the spot, but any kids in a classroom who do suffer from allergies who are willing to help answer those questions for their peers, I think would be great, because it's one thing to have their teacher or another adult, throwing facts at them, but to see, Frank sitting next to me can't eat peanuts, and what does that mean for him, would be pretty impactful.
I got a Snickers bar here.
And that's a bit of the hope of the video, right? Is without forcing any child into a tough conversation that they can see from their peers vicariously through that video. And I think some kids like my son would jump right up there.
Well, I think the more we make it in the video and in the classrooms, the easier it will be for students to share their experiences.
Yeah, and to feel normal, right? That it's okay, that you don't have to feel like an outsider, that you're being represented, and it's okay to talk about it and feel like you fit in still.
With regards to the policies, are you planning on making changes? Do you guys have an idea yet, or is that's like the next phase? You're going to be coming up with policy changes that you're considering?
So at this point, our policies are pretty comprehensive. What we're adding in is the social emotional piece and where we found loopholes, like where there are activities that happen in a classroom during lunch where kids bring their lunch in and eat, so then it is no longer a safe learning environment for certain children. So we're shoring those up by we've realized in our meetings that we do need to address how do we keep that area safe, because it's not addressed. So we do have, I think, one addition to add, which would be to give the role of the of making sure the classroom is safe after the activity to the person running the activity.
They'd have a procedure how they're supposed to wipe it down.
We're going to make sure that that's all in there. Mhm.
Okay. So it's not really a lot of like policy changes as far as like where the kids sit and how they're integrated. It's more of, more of awareness, actually, it seems like, and having this discussion with the kids in the room so people feel more included and don't feel like they're ostracized in any way.
I think people thrive when they know what their role is, right? So to be explicit with a club sponsor, if you use Classroom X, not only is your role to facilitate the meeting, but your role is also then to take these 3 steps afterwards to ensure a clean environment. I think every staff member would be bought into that, but no one has necessarily called that out overtly, right? So I think things like that, it's where it's not changing the paradigm, but it's adding role clarity. I think you see things like that. I think from a lunchroom perspective, it's not wholesale change, but perhaps standardization. And not to gloss over or overstate, but there is one recommendation in here, policy-driven, and that is around classroom parties, and a recommendation to, in 2019-20, to move to a food-free activity-based party, which is done by several other districts in the area.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave, quite honestly, I've been a PTA member for quite a long time. There was a point, I believe, when my oldest son was in 3rd grade, maybe 4th grade, 3rd, 4th grade, there was a policy that was enacted. And we had to make that wholesale change, but it only lasted for a year.
Got it.
And I remember being part of that, the transition of, okay, now what do you do with, if you're a room parent, what do you do with the party that you used to have cupcakes at, and now you don't have cupcakes anymore, so where do you go with it? And there were some really good ideas that came out of that for a couple of years, and then people just backed off and kind of let it die.
Yep.
So it's got great potential. It's just a matter of putting it back in.
We did see that. We did see that it kind of did fade, and every school had a different way of using part of the guidelines and not seeing the entire guideline. So there are a lot of really strong, very sound practices. We just need to make sure that they're readily available.
Right.
I guess one of the questions is when maybe this came in through the audit. Do you see that having class parties with food is a fairly common thing throughout the district? Right, I would assume it was. So what would you advocate as an alternative to that?
So I think, the discussion, I think there's a numerous sets of practices in terms of the tolerance from very few restrictions to very many restrictions across different schools. I think the alternative would be, you're talking about a 90-minute party to engage the children in really fun activities with each other. What I will say is I volunteer regularly at parties. In my children's classrooms, we've gone to apple slices and water, and when the kids are having relay races, they're doing crafts, they've got fun different game stations around the room, pulling them back to sit down to eat that snack is difficult, actually, because they don't want to stop enjoying their classmates. So I think the alternative is a party that's structured around fun activities and enjoying their classmates versus having a snack.
And that's one of our goals, is to be a resource for the PTA and give them alternative activities that they could do if they are struggling to find things to do. Because there are quite a number of classroom parties that I've seen where they are not even in the classroom, they're around the school doing a scavenger hunt. And they're doing other activities, and the kids are having a wonderful time. The other thing with going back to the lunchroom and the tables, food allergy tables are parent-driven, so if a parent asks for a food allergy table to keep their child safe, the school does provide that. Our goal is to be more supportive with the administration to show how that would look in a social, emotionally safe lunchroom.
I have a question with regards to that. I was going to ask that. Is it possible for kids without allergies to sit with kids with allergies?
Absolutely.
If they can, how do you
That's
manage
our
that?
goal.
I mean, how do you manage that, okay, one of the kids that doesn't have an allergy doesn't bring something that the other child might be allergic to?
And so that's the piece to manage. So I think my view is it's not a table for children with allergies, it's an allergy-aware table, meaning these substances aren't permitted at the table. And so my son has a peanut, tree nut, and dairy allergy. He sits at a desk at the end of an allergy-aware table, and every day a number of friends will sit with him at that table who don't have those items in their lunch. It does take a staff member to do a walk by and check those tables. It's a limited number of tables, so without question, there's a resource commitment to having somebody who's eyeballing that. But he's able to be included in that process and have friends with him. So I think it's about protecting it from that substance, less about restricting it to those students with allergies.
And I think when you go back to a year ago when this conversation started, it was 100% driven initially by social emotional wellness for kids, because we felt like we had hit the safety portion. So it was feedback from a couple of parents that their children were feeling ostracized, so their emotional well-being was at risk, although their physical well-being was on solid ground.
And I think that's the spirit of the education, right? So I think we can write a policy, hypothetically, write a policy that prescribes exactly how this should be handled in the cafeteria. And I think what will happen is people will meet the letter of the policy. If we educate folks and help bring awareness up and drive and desire, I think we'll have staff then that meet the spirit of the policy, which is to help these kids feel included. And I think that's what we're going for, is that next piece, that part that puts it over the top, is helping folks to live in the spirit of this, and that's through education and awareness.
I think if you get a chance, you should see that video, because you'll see the kids, they want to support their peers and they want to help them out. And so the first goal of this group was to inform and to educate. And if kids and staff members know, they want to help kids. They want to make it a good place for kids and their peers. And so I think that's a noble effort. I want to thank the committee, all the members out there that worked so hard, gave up many hours to put this together. Dave, for your leadership, for coming forward as a parent, and your balanced approach to it. Well, it was fabulous. I think it was trying to understand all perspectives, but you've moved the district forward through your participation in the committee. Thank you. I'm excited about what is possible for us to move forward. We'll make kids' experiences even better because of this committee's work. I feel bad that we have taken a while to do it, but now I'm excited about doing it in the near future, so thank you. And Karen, I know when I talked with Karen, she was excited about this. Most people don't get excited about stuff like this. Karen was really excited. She really was energized by this committee and the work, and that was really touching to me to see that.
I'm a food allergy geek.
Yeah. and Kim up here tonight, Kim, I'm not surprised she's here because she was just recognized as the Illinois PTA Teacher of the Year for the state of Illinois. She is the epitome of a person that gives, and she's a model for us all to strive to be. Her photograph is on so many things, but I know your perspective tonight and your humbleness. Kim and I are of the same era, kind of, At least I like to hug onto her youth a little bit, but we were talking about kids and stuff, but tonight for you to be able to say, after many, many years of experiences and the great things you do in the classroom, you're still learning. Absolutely. And so I appreciate that. So I wanted to just say thank you to the committee, and I'm excited about the work that's going to continue.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I said congratulations to Kim when I was back there, and you looked at me like you had no idea what I was talking about on the PTA award. Thank you. So I get the humbleness.
Thank you very much.
See you in a year, huh? Next item on my agenda is a report from Frank C. Whiteley and from Winston Campus Elementary School. And so, Mr. Harris, if you'd come up, and Mary Lynn Smith is filling in for Mr. Tiemann, who has a commitment with his family tonight. So glad you could come, Mary Ellen.
Thank you.
Mary Lynn.
Just fine.
Share a microphone. Again, this is Mr. Harris, if you don't recognize him.
Sorry.
He's lost his hair as a donation for a fundraiser, and he's decided to keep it that way, so.
Yes, yeah. Sleek look. Good evening, Dr. Thompson, President Shupai, and the rest of the Board of Education. My name is Bob Harris. I'm the principal at Whiteley Elementary School. I've been the principal there since January of 2014. Previously, I was a PE teacher there since 2000. I came to the district in 1993-94 from North Dakota and worked at Marion Jordan as a 5th grade teacher and also the PE teacher over there as well. Some facts about Frank C. Whiteley School. First of all, I worked there for many years and never knew what the C stood for, and it stands for carpenter, which I thought was very interesting. We currently have an enrollment of about 600 students. About 80 of those students are Japanese speakers, but we have over 25 different languages spoken. We have 2 gifted classrooms, a 3-4 and a 5-6. We have 5 self-contained classrooms. 3 of those classrooms are called our AIM classrooms, which stands for Academic Instruction for Meaningful Education. And those are students with mild to moderate physical and mental disabilities. We also have 2 Emotional and Behavior SEAL classrooms, which stands for Social Emotional Academic Learning. We have 3 classes at every grade level from 1st grade to 6th grade, and we have 2 AM kindergarten and 1 PM kindergarten class. We have a very big staff. We have 58 staff members, certified staff members, and 30 program assistants that work at our building every day. Some highlights I'd like to point out is that we have a wonderful supportive community that gets behind our causes. We have hosted an average of 3 famous and award-winning authors each year for the last 10 years. And we have won the Bike to School competition the last 4 years in a row. And I can only imagine it will be the same tomorrow. Our PE program this year raised $8,013 for the American Heart Association. And our St. Baldrick's event raised over $25,000 for the children's childhood cancer. I'm extremely proud of our staff, students, and community at Whiteley. They are my family in so many ways. I will be moving on to Willow Bend next year to start a new chapter in my educational life, and I'm very much looking forward to that challenge. But I will forever be grateful for what the family at Whiteley has given me over the past 18 years. Thank you.
So have you learned how to use chopsticks yet?
Yes.
Okay, good.
My trip to Japan last year.
That's right.
Good evening, Dr. Thompson, Ms. Shupai, and the Board of Education. My name is Mary Lynn Smith. I am the assistant principal at Winston Campus Elementary School. Here on behalf of Mr. Tiemann, he apologizes. He had some family commitments he could not miss. This is my first year at Winston Campus. However, this is my 3rd year in the district as an assistant principal. And we really wanted to capitalize that we have a very talented group of teachers and support staff that have done a wonderful job helping us create systems. We have some complicating programs. We have our ECDEC program, Gifted, our LEAP, which is a self-contained, specialized academic instructionalized program, and next year we are very excited to pilot our dual language program. So with the support staff that we have, we've been able to really support our systems. When you think of Winston Campus, you think of how do we best support a student. So anytime that a concern comes up, we have a system that we're able to work through that really provides the appropriate supports very seamlessly. Over the years, Winston Campus has developed enough systems to be platinum recognized for the PBIS Recognition Award. We are again applying for platinum this year, and it's really a contributed effort from our green, yellow, and red teams. We have a PBIS handbook. I believe it was presented to you guys. Our teachers, through shared decision-making, through our data, we've really worked together to create that handbook for consistency to help student support, as well as update it through the years to improve our systems even better. At our universal level, or our Tier 1 system, Expect Respect is one of our most important systems where each student has a superpower. You oftentimes hear myself or Mr. Tiemann say anytime a student comes up to us with a problem, what is your superpower? And their superpower is to say stop to other students if they feel disrespected. So we're really empowering students to use their superpower to learn how to handle disrespectful conversations, and in turn continue to use their superpower to be allies and upstanders if they see disrespectful behavior happening in our school. Also part of our universal system, we've developed a very positive high-frequency reward system. Each student receives Eagle Wings, when they are doing something very phenomenal and positive towards expected behavior. When students receive an Eagle Wing, they bring it home to have a parent sign it. When they receive 5, it turns into a golden ticket for a reward. Students that receive golden tickets, they have their picture taken, it's showcased, it's really a great celebration. When a student goes above and beyond, those golden tickets, again, they're really prized by the children. We've noticed that, so we wanted to turn it on them. So now students are able to create Eagle eggs for peers. So when they have a peer demonstrating expected behavior going above and beyond, they're able to turn an Eagle egg into a classroom teacher. The classroom teacher has a discussion about it, and we recognize it through an Eagle Wing as well. We have strong Tier 2 and Tier 3 systems also in place, helping contribute to that platinum recognition. We have Pop In, Pop Out, social, instructional, academic groups, peer mentors. We collaborate with the junior high to have some junior high mentors. We have Check and Connect. For our Tier 3 levels of support, we have systems in place to really work on complex behavior plans, bring in teams, bring in parents, and community support through RAPs. So Mr. Tiemann and I are very proud of Winston Campus. It's truly a special place, and I appreciate you having me here on his behalf.
Thank you.
Before I go on, I should recognize Mr. Dietz in the back before he sneaks out. He was the Illinois PTA Principal of the Year for the state of Illinois. Now you can sneak out, so. And we also had, we actually had the trifecta where we had the Illinois Volunteer of the Year for the state. That was Sherry Lamarand, and she was recognized as well with those, with Kim and with Jason this past Saturday, so that was exciting. The last item of my section is just a quick update on full-day kindergarten. I wanted to let you know that we're in the process of going to each school, analyzing enrollment, space at each school, determining if there are schools that can have classrooms added on, and we're determining how many actual classrooms we would need if we wanted to have full-day kindergarten next year or a year in the future. And I will come back to you, hopefully next month, with a report on how many classrooms we would have to add to our current buildings, how much that would cost, what schools could have those, which schools could not have classrooms added on because some are in floodplains and things like that. But I'll have one proposal that will show you if you want to have full-day kindergarten, we would have this many classrooms added onto these schools, and this would be the cost, and here would be the pluses and minuses of that. Mike Adamczyk and I will also be working on ongoing costs associated with full-day kindergarten and what that would do to our budget. The second option would be purchasing a standalone space, perhaps an anchor store at a strip mall that could be converted into a school, and that where we could have an early childhood center where we could house many kindergarten and ECDEC classrooms in the future. And so we have been working on identifying possible buildings that we could do that with. We have one identified that we're working with the owner, and it's fairly exciting, but the board will be able to determine whether Option 2, a storefront turned into a school, an early childhood center, or adding on is one of the considerations they'd like to have to enact full-day kindergarten in the future. So that should be coming back. I should be coming back to you next month with those two options. It also, this whole discussion will dovetail nicely with our boundaries examination that we're working on. We have gotten back 3 proposals from consultants that would want to work with us to help us with our examination of boundaries and looking into the future to see if there are needed changes and what we need to anticipate as far as enrollment in the future. And so I think all these things are kind of dovetailing nicely together, and you'll see that eventually we'll be able to make some significant decisions and movements going forward about those things. So the committee for the boundary examination will be working in the next month, and hopefully we'll have some information for you as well at that June meeting about the recommendation for which consultant should be helping us. That's it for my section of the board meeting. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Okay.
All right. motion for the reading and acceptance of minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the following meeting of the Board of Education, May 9th, 2018, regular Board of Education meeting and the executive session as presented.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Long,
Aye.
Iannarino,
Aye.
Border,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Khan.
Before, I should have brought up in the discussion, is that the right date? Or am I just looking at this wrong? May 9, 2018?
That's today.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
April 9th.
April 9th, yep.
Why don't we do it?
there.
We'll make the motion.
So we'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the following meeting of the Board of Education, April 9, 2018, regular Board of Education meeting and executive session as presented.
Second.
I'll second that one as well.
Discussion? Roll call?
Long,
Aye.
Iannarino,
Aye.
Border,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Khan,
Aye.
Smolka,
Aye.
Shupai.
Aye.
Mr. Khan's family left before you.
I know.
He's
I'm so
awake.
proud of you.
It's like, I'm still here.
We'll take that section of video and we'll just keep playing it over and over again for your wife and kids. Board discussion and reports. Committee representation. Would any member like to change their committee responsibilities for the coming year? Nope. If not, we will continue with our committee leadership as it stands and go for another good year, as this has been. Thank you guys for taking the responsibility. All right. Mr. Iannarino, I read.
So a lot of legislation has been proposed. Some of the things of note would be some mandates that have been put out there. Well, I mean, a lot of the issues with mandates is that a lot of times they're unfunded. So these are just certain things that have come up recently. A curricular mandate to require the instruction on the historical contributions of LGBT Americans. That was actually proposed in the House and in the Senate. The Senate bill actually passed, so now we got to see what happens with that version in the House. Raising the statutory minimum teacher salary to $40,000 has been proposed. I don't know if that affects us. I think we're at that or right at the edge of it, right?
Yeah.
We have some teachers that start below that in the salary schedule, and maybe not now. We did initially, I think. It's like $39 or something. Yeah, it was like $48 or bucks. But yeah, evidently before it was like $10,000, but now they want to raise it to $40,000.
The other thing is to require at least 50% of the school's custodial staff to be trained in pest control. I don't know if we have pest control training for our custodial staff.
We do.
At least 50%? All right, yes.
We are in compliance.
We're not going to get burned on that one. All right. Let's see. And then, requiring schools, districts to inform all students of the opportunity to receive mental health services. That's probably a good thing. And then we have requiring schools to provide a meal for every student who asks for one, regardless of the ability to pay for one. So that's another mandate. So those are the major ones that are out there. The ones that did pass the Senate was the history one for curriculum, on LGBT, having federally reimbursed meals or snacks for kids that can't afford them, and then and there's one more. And that was one that passed the Senate, was the elimination of the requirements for physical education. They changed it from moving the requirement from 5 days a week to 3 days per week, and they set a rigid baseline time amount to 150 minutes a week. So that's something new. So those all passed the Senate. We'll see if they pass the House. That's it.
Are we doing that with specials? Are we getting 150 minutes per student in
No,
PE?
we
I
do
wouldn't think
not
so.
have the space, and so we've written and gotten waivers in the past because the number of students we have and the number of slots we have in the gym, we can't
Couldn't get to
possibly
150.
get all those kids in there 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day, and so we would not be able to comply with that if it passed.
All right. So that's definitely a rough one that we would not want to have pass.
We've talked about that at the high school level, and I think we have plenty of students not meeting it at the high school level either. But waivers come into play there, too.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that if we had to have that many minutes, it would be a significant increase in staff because we don't have the staff to cover them right now. And so our budget is based upon programming going forward as it is, not increasing the number of minutes kids get for physical education. We're all in favor of physical education. It's just a matter of trying to balance all things, space, budget, all those things.
Maybe we can get recess to count.
All right, that's it.
All right, thank you very much, Frank. 1-5 Foundation?
Two quick updates. A couple weeks ago, there was a 1-5 Foundation fundraiser at Dirty Nelly's. It was a dueling pianos event. It was so much fun if anybody went. It was a great time. I highly recommend it. I think we'll do it again next year. Very successful. And then the next fundraising activity is May 19th coming up. There's a run happening in Arlington Heights, and it is it's sponsored by one organization, but it includes school districts from all around the area. And if you sign up to do this run, you indicate your school that you'd like your funding to go back to. And so anybody who participates, the majority of the proceeds from your entry would go back to District 15. So if you're looking for a way to get some exercise, it's a great way to benefit the community and yourself.
I will be there.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Mike's training right now.
Right. So that 2.62 miles is going to be a great training run for you.
Finance Committee?
We haven't met, but we have a meeting that we're working through scheduling in the next 2 weeks to talk about the budget that'll be presented next month.
Perfect. Equity Committee?
Well, there was a couple of things since the last meeting. We did well. First, there was the ISB event on equity that a lot of us were there. I think it was the 28th. I think it was the 28th. It was a great event. A lot of great examples of other districts that have dealt with the issue of achievement gaps and whatnot, and seeing what they have done and some of the issues, some of the resistance that they may have faced, and some of the success that you've seen. Like I remember there was a district from Joliet there that had talked about some of the success that they had, and so I thought it was very informative and inspirational. There was the last speaker was particularly inspirational, and it was good to hear. I mean, his message is kind of similar to just the point of what the Equity Committee is doing right now, kind of looking at each child as an individual, and how I remember that the last speaker, basically he's written a book, and his idea was, he was branded as somebody who did not have a chance in the world to succeed. It's actually in his report somewhere, and that it was just a couple of things that happened, and just a couple of teachers who looked at him the right way, and it turned everything around, and it seemed like it just shows that our emphasis on the individual students, trying to care for every single student, as opposed to separating them off in different demographics and working our way that way, as opposed to just looking at the individual. And I thought this speaker in particular emphasize that, so I thought that hit home. And that goes to, we also met with the Dr. Edgar and his whole team on April 24th, so prior to that, and similar to that, I thought they made a lot of great progress. Again, a data-driven method to try to figure out what things are driving the students in our schools that are not achieving, regardless of demographics. And the data is coming out, and as they're starting to hone in on certain things, like you're starting to hone in on, and I just put a little tidbits in there, because when they eventually present to us, they're the experts, but just trying to hone in on certain grades that are doing at certain grades where people are improving, or certain schools where people are improving, or certain programs that are effective currently. And then so what we're looking, eventually at the end of this year, when we get the presentation, we're looking for big recommendations from this group. And I'm hoping that before that time, we'll have another meeting to kind of see where those recommendations are coming, and maybe allow us on a committee, Mike and I, to kind of go out and kind of witness some of the community school concepts that are already there, and seeing how they're working, and so to help us better understand what their recommendations will be. That's it.
Great. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing the data and the crunch, really. Data's good, but what does it mean? Superintendent's Communication Committee.
We have not met, but I'm proposing that we will meet in June just to review our efforts over the last year, to evaluate the goals that were part of the communication plan that was created last year, and then to make recommendations for initiatives going forward to continue to improve our communications for the next school year, 18-19. So we will be meeting, I think, within the next month, and maybe we'll have a report in June.
All right, great. Any other commentary? Nope. Citizens address the board. We will now open our meeting for public comment. If you'd like to make public commentary, if you fill out one of these forms and bring it up to Mrs. Becker, that would be great. Do we have any?
No.
Should I go through this whole thing, or anybody interested? Morgan?
I'm not interested in But thank you for asking.
All right, if there's no commentary, we'll skip that section. If somebody changes their mind, don't hesitate to stand up. Action items. May I have a motion, please, for the personnel report?
Make a motion to approve May 9th, 2018 personnel report, including the following recommendations. Recommendation for disciplinary action, 1-day AWP suspension for Carol Baumeister. Recommendation for disciplinary action, 6 1/2 days AWP suspension for Amanda Session. Recommendation for disciplinary action, 1-day AWP suspension for Celine Hernandez. Recommendation for disciplinary action, 1-day AWP suspension for Patricia Kilcoyne. Recommendation for disciplinary action, 10-day AWP suspension for Hattie Washington. And recommendation for termination of Amanda Session.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
I have to correct that. Hattie Washington should be a 1-day, not 10. It was
1 day.
Not one 10-day?
I'm sorry.
And I do have one comment. You'll see in there's a recommendation for a curriculum Title I position that was created. It's a new position, and it kind of dovetails with Zubair's discussion about equity. We're continuing to try to identify ways that we can decrease the achievement gap. That's one of the goals of the board, and this is a position that we believe will help us achieve, to lessen the achievement gap, to give some focused support to those schools that need it the most, kids that need it the most. And so I just wanted to point that out, that we're continuing, despite the Equity Committee's ongoing work, we're taking some actual steps to make sure that that's a reality next year in many different ways, and this is just one of those.
Further discussion? Roll call?
Iannarino.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Khan.
Aye.
Smoka.
Aye.
Shupai.
Aye.
Wong.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18-531, may I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to authorize the resolution to approve the fiscal year 2019 tentative budget for public display and to establish hearing date as presented.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Porter.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Khan.
Aye.
Smoka.
Aye.
Shupai.
Aye.
Wong.
Aye.
Iannarino.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18-532, motion, please.
I make a motion to adopt the strategic plan as presented on April 18th, 2018, with a Gantt chart to be created in fall 2018, indicating details of the plan.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Yep. I have one point to make on the strategic plan, just because I think it needs to be said one more time, just to clarify. The point of the strategic plan is that there's flexibility built in, therefore, things can be added and adjusted as we move forward. So what we are approving today is not set in stone. It is a live, vibrant plan that will continue to work for us over the next number of years.
I mean, I think the plan is also to have regularly scheduled reviews, and we do it at least once a year, so in case anybody's wondering, we've reviewed every year.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Kane.
Aye.
Khan.
Aye.
Smoka.
Aye.
Shupai.
Aye.
Wong.
Aye.
Iannarino.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18533, may I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to award the contract for the touchscreen Chromebooks with licensing, warranty, services, and options, bid 18-016, for shared use grades K to 5 to Riverside Technologies, Inc., North Sioux City, South Dakota, for a total amount of $506,970 as recommended. Sorry, periods got me. This purchase is to include a quantity of 1,935 Chromebooks, Lenovo 300E with licensure and green delivery.
Second.
Second.
Discussion?
So just really wanted to point out again that this is part of our budgeted expenditure. This isn't an additional expenditure. So I just want to make that point.
Yeah, excellent. Now, this is a replacement of the iPads that have been become obsolete, and the presentation last week from the committee that was very impressive, sharing with you about how kids really like the touchscreen Chromebook, and that was their recommendation. So we're excited to see those in action next year.
All right. Second? I already said second, didn't I? Discussion, we're on discussion. All right, roll call.
Han?
Aye.
Smolka?
Aye.
Shupai?
Aye.
Wong?
Aye.
Iannarino?
Aye.
Border?
Aye.
Kane?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18534, motion, please.
I make a motion to award the contract for the Chromebooks with accessories, warranty, services, and options, bid 18-017 for one-to-one initiative for students entering 6th grade to Riverside Technologies, Inc., North Sioux City, South Dakota, for a total amount of $398,930 as recommended. This purchase is to include a quantity of 1,390 Chromebooks, Lenovo 100E, licensure, 3-year manufacturer's loss and accidental damage insurance, protective sleeve cases, protective fitted shell cases, and green delivery.
Second.
I second.
Discussion?
Just to make the same point that I made the last time, is that this is included in our budget already, as on our budget.
May I ask a question on the cases? It said something about the ones in the recommendation are of the higher quality. There's not consistency across the bids? Because I noticed some of the bidders only bid on the cases, for example, and they were lower, but we don't have the option to mix bids, or we feel like the quality is significantly different.
We selected the case that we thought would be the best for the kids, and so I think it just happened to coincide with the person that got the overall bid, but I think we could have done independently and gotten the cases separately from the Chromebooks. Okay. But this is the best case that the committee decided.
Yeah, so value because it was mid-range of the prices rather than the low bid by any stretch, but if it's,
we want them the last 3 years.
Right, you want them to actually protect the device. Okay.
The other point with that is that, so we're phasing out the 8th graders that are current 8th graders, but those Chromebooks are going to go into K through 5 spots to increase the number of devices that we have at lower grades, and then the 6th graders will get new ones, and we'll have this cycle that will go on until we've fulfilled the need to have Chromebooks across the district.
So when we cycle them into K through 5, we'll just have a mixture of touchscreens and regular Chromebooks.
Yeah. Further discussion. Roll call.
Smolka?
Aye.
Shupai?
Aye.
Wong?
Aye.
Iannarino?
Aye.
Border?
Aye.
Kane?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18535, motion, please.
I make a motion to award the contract for the Chromebook carts bid 18-018 to CDW Government LLC, Vernon Hills, Illinois, for a total amount of $80,416 as recommended. This purchase is to include a quantity of 63 carts for touchscreen Chromebooks and 37 for non-touchscreen Chromebooks, for a total of 100 carts pursuant to Illinois School Code. Technology purchases are exempt from procurement requirements in regard to awarding proposals to the lowest bidder.
Second.
Second.
Discussion?
Guess I'll continue to make the same comment, although this is built in over a two-year budget for the Department of Technology, but it is built into our budget.
And part of those carts are for these 8th grader Chromebooks that are going to lower grades, and part of them are for the new Chromebooks with the touchscreens that are being put into play.
And we're getting close to having over 12,000 devices, just about one for every child in the school system. So that's pretty exciting.
But that's a combo of iPads and Chromebooks at this point. Okay. Excellent. Further discussion?
And the slightly higher bid choice versus the, sounded like a lower bid was a bulkier cart with subpar quality or cord management facility. So again, we felt like the additional expenditure was worth it from a space utilization.
Efficiency, if you don't have charged devices the next morning,
That's a train
they're
wreck.
not really, they're not useful. So, yeah, it's the space that it takes up and the availability for kids to quickly plug those in so they do get charged and they're ready for the next day.
Roll call?
Shupai?
Aye.
Wong?
Aye.
Iannarino?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Kane?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Smolka?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18536, motion please.
I make a motion to award the contract for modifying and upgrading the district's content filtering and monitoring for Chromebooks to Go Guardian, El Segundo, California, for a total amount of $112,960 as recommended. Go Guardian provided a letter stating that the pricing was the best pricing, therefore the request for purchase process was unnecessary.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Just a question on that process. So because they're the core distributor and they're saying anybody else that would basically be retailing it couldn't do it for a cheaper price without doing it at a loss?
No, it's my understanding that it's proprietary material that only they provide, and so you're comparing apples to oranges, and since no one else provides Go Guardian, they provided the best price available across the nation to us, and so we didn't really need to do anything beyond that.
Okay. Are we currently using the Go Guardian?
We are for part of our system. Is it the external or?
So right now, we're using iBoss as the external content filter, and we're moving to Go Guardian based on evaluating iBoss, talking with other districts, and really believing that it's going to provide us with greater coverage, not only for kids with one-to-one Chromebooks taking the devices home, but all Chromebooks in the district. We also have another filtering solution for PCs and iPads in the district, and we're required by law, the Child Internet Protection Act, to have content filtering with respect to computers that are student-issued on the district's network. As a district, we made the decision with board support to extend that to all students taking devices home as an additional protection measure in terms of student safety.
But will Go Guardian be for both at school and at home, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's the way.
Okay, have we piloted it, tried it out, make sure there's no glitches to it?
Yes.
We have, yes, in 2 of the junior highs at
Okay.
Winston campus and Wilkerson.
And it's been used at other schools in neighboring neighboring areas that we've been able to talk with.
Okay. Yeah, I just know that iBoss, my daughter's in high school, and they had that on their iPads, and it was a train wreck. They eventually had to pull it off all the iPads. So.
Well, then I guess Go Guardian.
I'm glad we're not going that way, because that's like, I don't know about this iBoss stuff. All right.
Okay. You just want to laugh a little more, right? Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Wong?
Aye.
Iannarino?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Kane?
Aye.
Smolka?
Aye.
Shupai?
Aye. Motion carries. Item 18537, motion please.
I'll make a motion to award the contract for the telecommunications services bid 18-014 to AT&T for a 4-year contract to provide their district with telecommunication services at an annual rate of $38,035, along with work and services to be provided by Telecom Innovations Group, TIG, at a one-time cost of $24,128 as recommended.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? The one comment that Dr. Thompson had made about this, for everybody's information, one of the benefits of of this is that we will have the ability to make emergency calls even when the system is down or we've got no power or loss of internet, that type of thing. So it's an important safety upgrade. All right, roll call.
Iannarino,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Khan,
Aye.
Smoka,
Aye.
Shupai,
Aye.
Wong.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18538, may I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to reject all science supplies bids 18-019. The bid was divided into two categories, general science supplies and replacement items. 4 vendors responded to the general science supplies and only 1 vendor responded to the science kit replacements. It is in the best interest of the district to rebid these items to ensure the best pricing available.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
So when we rebid it, how are we gonna, I guess what happened in the first bidding process that we're gonna change in the second bidding process?
We're going to take off that one line that says no substitute, and then we'll be able to get multiple bids on the science supplies.
Ah, okay.
All right.
All right.
Roll call.
Porter,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Khan,
Aye.
Smoka,
Aye.
Shupai,
Aye.
Wong,
Aye.
Iannarino.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18539, may I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to award the contract for the classroom furniture bid 18-020 to 4 vendors as follows. 1, Frank Cooney, Wooddale, Illinois, $12,660.30. 2, Verco from Conway, Arkansas, $11,180.87. 3, Midwest Furnishing from Kildare, Illinois, at $10,897.60. And 4, Warehouse Direct, Des Plaines, Illinois, $1,654.73, for a total bid amount of $36,393.50 as recommended.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
So it was compared as accepting the all-in and then piecing together versus removing the all-in and it was slightly cheaper to, even though the Cooney bid was higher on some items because it was all or nothing, the aggregate was cheaper.
Correct. When we analyzed the bid, we took the all, so we took the all.
Yeah, the two.
All in with Frank Cooney. If we had separated them out by line item, it would cost us a
Couple grand more.
Yeah, not much, but, so this was actually the lowest cost alternative by doing the all in with Frank Cooney, correct?
Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Khan,
Aye.
Smoka,
Aye.
Shupai,
Aye.
Wong,
Aye.
Iannarino,
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18540, motion, please.
Make a motion to award the contract for the laser bond paper bid alternate 18-023 to Veritiv Operating Company, Addison, Illinois, for a total amount of $110,409.70 as recommended.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Khan,
Aye.
Smoka,
Aye.
Shupai,
Aye.
Wong,
Aye.
Iannarino,
Aye.
Border,
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18541, motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the purchase of the Infinite Campus Student Information System to replace the district's current student information tiler as a solution that would be more responsive to the needs of the district for implementation in early 2019. The district will have to run and pay for both systems during the transition. This will involve an expenditure of $136,040 out of the 2017-18 budget and $80,637 out of the 2018-19 budget. The term of the contract is 4 years. Costs for the product and services by year are as follows. For 2017-18 school year, so prior to Infinite Campus, $105,000. 2017-18 school year with Infinite Campus, $218,308. 2018-19 school year, $165,013. 2019-20 school year, $119,689. And 2021 school year, $136,877.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
I did contact Dr. Cates today at District 211, and I told him that we were going to be addressing this tonight and probably switching to Infinite Campus, and he said, thank you, and he said, you're really going to like it. So I think it's an increased cost, but not that significant, but we're going to really, I think, get a lot of benefit from it.
I definitely, as an Infinite Campus user, think it's a lot easier to use.
Right.
Yeah.
As an everyday user, I'm all in.
Yep. Further discussion.
Actually, really quick, Matt, for those that weren't here or saw it last month, I'm sorry, eventually we'll get there. Can you just discuss really briefly why we're running both systems for the 17-18 school year, or for the 18-19 school year, sorry, 17-18?
Yeah, we want to make sure before Infinite Campus, we turn it on and it begins meeting our needs, that if there's any glitches, we can fall back on Tyler, the current solution. So, most districts that look at phasing one system out and then bringing another on board typically have 1 year overlap where they're paying for both systems, just to make sure that if there's anything that's at issue, you can fall back to the other system temporarily to work out any type of bugs with respect to the new system. Now, we're highly confident that, we are going to have a very successful implementation with respect to Infinite Campus, but it just shores up the bet, really, in terms of making sure, that we're comfortable moving forward.
Thanks.
All right. Roll call?
Smolka?
Aye.
Shupai?
Aye.
Wong?
Aye.
Iannarino?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Kane?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 18-542, motion please.
I make a motion to award the contract for E-rate federal funding wireless network refresh project to Sentinel Technologies, Inc. for a total amount of $490,364 as recommended. The contract with Sentinel Technologies, Inc. for this project is contingent upon receiving funding approval from Universal Service Administrative Company in approximately June 2018.
Second.
Second.
Discussion?
So our technology department does an excellent job. Dave and Carol, they stay on top of this. And so when you use your cell phone, you get your bill at the end of the month, there's a tax associated with that, and that's what E-rate gets its funding from, is from our cell phones, and I think from our wireless, any other wireless device, as well as our cable. And that money comes back to schools, and libraries. And 60% of this funding will be refunded by E-rate for the refresh of the wireless network. So it's really a very effective way for us to keep on top of technology, and it's all due to the astuteness of our technology staff.
Nice. Any other questions? Discussion? Anthony? You have a look on your face that looks like...
It's been a So in terms of the bids, this was a tougher one to compare. In terms of there were so many options provided from each of the vendors. Was there consistency in what was included, what was excluded?
So I'm going to have to refer to Dave about that. Dave, what can you tell us a little bit about why the decision was made, how the decision was made?
Yeah, after the bids were received, we reviewed them, evaluated, then we called each of the vendors in for anywhere from a 2 to a 4-hour meeting, answered questions, then we evaluated again, and then Darrell High seemed to be the best fit for our district.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Roll call?
Shupai?
Aye.
Wong?
Aye.
Iannarino?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Kane?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Smolka?
Aye.
Motion carries. Finally, the consent calendar. Would anybody like to remove anything from the consent calendar this evening? Nope. May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Roll call?
Khan?
Aye.
Iannarino?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Kane?
Aye.
Smolka?
Aye.
Shupai?
Aye.
Wong?
Aye.
Motion carries. Dr. Thompson, correspondence?
There were 2 requests and 1 response for information under the Freedom of Information Act during the period of April 12th, 2018 through May 2nd. On April 10th, 2018, a request was received from Katie Kim, NBC. The response to this request was sent on April 17th. On May 2nd, a request was received from Mark Kaminsky, Community Consolidated School District 59. The response to this request is due on May 9th. We had one check that we received from the Village of Palatine for contributions from developers in the amount of $5,151.03.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.